And President Biden is traveling to Saudi Arabia today as he continues the second leg of his high-stakes tour of the Middle East. He's on that historic flight from Israel to Saudi Arabia right now. Our Deputy Political Director, Averi Harper, joins me from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, for more on that. Averi, Biden's on that flight from Tel Aviv. You're in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The country's opened its airspace for him to travel. They're ending the ban on flights to and from Israel. How big is that?
It is a big deal, and it's not just for his flight. It is for other kinds of flights as well, for public flights and public airlines as well. And it's really a show of progress because a major focus of this entire trip for President Biden is to create deeper connections between Israel and other Arab nations so that they can partner and create cooperation on things like tackling and confronting the nuclear program in Iran and other sorts of issues. And so it is a big deal, but the president himself has already started to temper expectations on that. He says that any sort of deeper relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel is going to take time. Things are not going to happen overnight.
Averi, the president is set to meet with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He's been criticized for that meeting, but defended it all the way through. So what can we expect from today's talks, and who else is Biden planning to meet with?
Right. This is about a group of nations, of Gulf state nations, that he is going to be meeting with. And when he meets with those Saudi leaders, it's not just going to be Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, it's also other Saudi leaders as well. Again, the effort is to create cooperation to tackle some of the biggest challenges facing this region. It's not even just the nuclear program in Iran, it's also things like food security. Energy is another issue that will come up. The president has spoken about the energy issue being vital to how the U.S. and other nations will tackle the fallout from the Russian war in Ukraine. We know that there are reporters who have spoken with folks as the president is heading here to Jeddah. They, too, are lowering their expectations on that. Experts have said that Saudi Arabia does not have any sort of silver bullet when it comes to gas prices. We know that the president is going to broadly encourage nations in this region to increase production. He's not going to single Saudi Arabia out specifically, but again, they're tempering expectations on that too.
Now, before leaving Israel this morning, Biden visited the West Bank and East Jerusalem. He met with Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Bethlehem and called for a two-state solution and greater efforts to establish a Palestinian state. The president also pledged about $300 million in aid to Palestine as he tries to revive U.S. ties, mostly cut off by former President Trump. So how significant is this, and does that money need congressional approval?
Right. I think that funding, which is going to go toward things like public health, toward infrastructure in Palestine, that's money that is needed on the ground. I think that there are going to be Palestinian leaders that are very happy to see that sort of a pledge of funding to invest in that area. But there's also frustration on the part of Palestinian leaders. They feel as though the Biden administration has embraced Trump-era policies, namely the Abraham Accord, which is an agreement that creates relationships between Israel and other nations in the region, but does not require that a Palestinian state be established. And we heard President Mahmoud Abbas talk about that this morning. He said that he hopes that the Biden administration takes steps that will not undermine the desire for a two-state solution. And so there are folks who are going to be happy about that funding and happy about that pledge, but there's still other work to be done. And yes, the Congress needs to approve that funding, so remains to be seen if that actually comes to fruition.
All right, Averi Harper in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia for us. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.